Give us an intro for the YouTubes. Where we're going for the YouTube.
Clay City Raceway, Stanton, Virginia, Kentucky.
Give us what we're doing. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a big name race. We raced last night. The Kart seemed to do fairly well. Mike been down just a little bit on something there. Not for sure exactly what it was. Probably a combination. Tires being too hard and not getting in the power band of the motor. But we were close. Had a chance, actually probably had a chance to win the heavy. But I think the tires come in too late. And in the medium, I'm trying to think of his name, Harmon, he was just fast last night. But,
He's fast every night he's there.
We were
Harmon's got shit
second
together.
to him.
But what do you think about today? This is an intro for today, yeah.
Clay City Raceway. It's a big race that Bear puts on. He's running it as a substitute to the Midwest. We're running in the 390 class.
Fat ass.
And we got tires that we scuffed from last night. And everything's been changed over, gear. And the weights put back on. Kart cleaned up.
How do you think it's going to go? What do you think our chances are? What are your expectations for the day?
I've never seen the track, so my expectations is
0.
if
Mine
the
are
track
0.
likes a motor with torque, we got it. If a track likes what they call a big motor track, we're going to have to really hump to get it. And we race better than we qualify, although the qualifying this year's got a lot better. And
I still qualify last, but I'm not as far off.
We're still qualifying in some shows this year. I think last time we were on a big show, we qualified 9th and 12th or something like that.
12th and 13th.
The qualifying's getting better. We just gotta figure the qualifying out where we can start in them top 10 everywhere. So we'll go down here. We should be all right with the tires. Hopefully we hit the gear right off the bat. We'll see what happens.
And that's that.
Oh, that's a new barn been built. Oh, that's a big one too. There's some Amish live down here in this Flemingsburg area.
The Amish?
Yeah, the Amish.
Amish. Did we ever go to Mudlick when you was little?
Yeah.
I was thinking we might have. When you went to Mudlick to a race, you pull in, you park, you walk into where the grandstand was, and had a little bit of a hillside, and you grabbed a chair out of the pile if you wanted to sit on a chair, not in the grandstands. Turn left here, takes you out to Mudlick.
They had like a bunch of old school chairs.
Actually, the track's a good track. The track itself, the track surface and everything. Facilities ain't worth a shit. Where the hell is it?
No.
Here's where you turn to Mudlick 344.
Where the sign
Turn
is.
left. Yeah, they even got a sign. Used to, they never even had a sign there. 5.5 miles.
Did you get anything good?
Just something to do one day. We do that a lot, especially in the off season.
Gotta have something to do.
I told you Barb and Ed got a house in Florida, didn't I?
No.
Goes back to the Freedom 40 days of Atomic when Karstner's run it.
Yeah.
And they started the Freedom 40, and they always run it during the 4th of July week on a Saturday night. And they used to get real good cars, a lot of good cars, a lot of all-star outlaw drivers would come in and run it if they wasn't racing somewhere. And one year, Kevin Huntley spun out on the first or second lap, had to go to the tail, another year, Craig Delansky and Randy Kinzer was battling for the win at the Freedom 40. They come off the turn, fourth turn, to take the checkered flag, and I'm thinking it was Delansky. He was between the wall and Randy Kinzer, and run over the wheel, shot the car up in the air at the finish line, and I think he won it at the finish line. He squeezed between the car, the other sprint car, and the wall, and hopped his right rear wheel and come across the finish line in the air. And Tommy used to run, it was back in the late 60s and up into the 70s. They used to run about 3 big races on Thursday night for sprints. And Bobby Allen and Stevie Smith Sr. and I was trying to think, Kramer Williamson and Richard Lupo. There'd be a bunch of the Central Pennsylvania cars would always come over and run at Atomic. In fact, Southern was open then, and what they'd do was Atomic would run on Wednesday and pay, like, say, $1,000 to win, which that was big money back in those days. And then Southern would run one, pay $1,000 to win on Thursday night, and then all them guys would stay and run Thursday night. And then after the race on Thursday at Southern, they'd all hightail it back to Pennsylvania to run Friday, Saturday, Sunday over there. There's always 6 or 8 of them guys that would come over and run those 2 nights. They used to put on some good races. But the sprint cars was not as fast, but there was a lot more passing because you didn't have the dirty air. They was wing, but you didn't have the dirty air. You didn't have the tires so soft that you had to have tire change, and they ran a bigger fuel cell, and you didn't have to have fuel stop, and it's just good, better racing, even though they was running probably a second and a half slower than they are today.
Alrighty, we made it. We're lined up all the way back to the road. There are carts everywhere. They're expecting Midwest level entries, so there's going to be a crap ton of carts. It's going to be a long day. We're probably going to get our asses kicked, and I think it's going to rain. So
no, we're not. We're going to go to the front.
Gramps is very optimistic. I'm not as optimistic. Yeah, they're expecting Midwest level entries. I think it's supposed to rain in around 11. Around 11. So there's probably going to be a bit of a rain delay, and it's going to be a long night. But we'll see. See how it goes.
No rain.
Well, gang, it's raining really freaking hard. We got practice in, that's it, and now it's a monsoon. not going to say that I'm disappointed or expected better results or anything, because honestly I didn't. It went honestly about the way I thought it would go. You know, whenever we go to those really big shows that have a lot of entries and a lot of good karts, and you know, the track, you know, you start during the day or whatever, we always struggle. That's just what it is. We either, you know, we don't have the tire option, or if we do have the tire option, we don't know what to do with it. And we just kind of made wrong calls all day on everything. Like, I went out there and spun out in qualifying. The prep that we used for qualifying was obviously not the right choice. So that set me back. You know, I ended up qualifying like poop, and that put me in the back of the B. And I made some spots up in the B, but honestly, I lucked into every single one of those spots. You know, the guy that started in front of me ran that cone over. Some other people got wrecked or wrecked themselves. So we just didn't have it. We kind of missed everything. You know, Wheelersburg went really well, but that was also just like a local show, a local point show. This was obviously different. I think 390 was paying 3,000 to win. I think heavy was 3,000. Like, you know, it was big race, big money. There was 386 entries. I think my class 390 had 46 or 48 entries. So it was just a really, really tough day. And we just didn't get anything figured out, you know, and we didn't go down there expecting to set the world on fire. My expectations were maybe like probably a top 5 in a Conti, not even making the show. Obviously, the ultimate goal was to make the show, but I didn't really expect that. I was expecting maybe a little better run in a Conti than what we had, but we just missed it. I felt like we had a really good game plan earlier in the day with what we had tire-wise and option-wise and everything. And then when it rained, when we had that monsoon, that kind of threw all that out the window, and everything changed, and we didn't really have a good game plan after that. And we were definitely struggling and just kind of circling and running around trying to figure out what to do. And I just didn't know, you know, my normal people that I kind of like talk to and hang out with and try and, you know, get feedback from and bounce ideas off of, they also didn't really know, and they all kind of struggled a little bit. So it was a rough day all around for me and everyone in my little, or not my little, the little group I hang out with. Like, it was just, overall, we were all struggling. And, you know, I know no matter what, I'm probably going to struggle, just the way it is at these big races. We just don't have the knowledge. But yeah, expectations were maybe a top 5 in the B. I ended up 8th in the B. I ran 7th for a while. So I don't know, about what I expected. I'm not going to say I'm sad or disappointed. You know, it is what it is. I'm realistic. I know going in, obviously I want to run good and I want to win races and I want to be up front, but realistically, I know that's, you know, not really the case, especially going to places like that. So it is what it is. It was a fun weekend. Wheelersburg was fun. Clay City was very long, very hot, but it was a good day. It was fun. It was nice to see people and hang out and get on the track, even though we kind of were slow and we sucked. And it is what it is, you know, just happy to be there, I guess. We'll try again. We're going to keep racing, obviously. We're going to keep digging. We're closing the gap. You know, this time last year, even the year before, you know, we were a second or more off the pace. Now we're within half a second to a couple tenths. So, you know, we're getting there. We're working on it. We're closing the gap. We just keep digging, you know, but there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and we don't have them all. And we're slowly building at it, and we're slowly working at it. Like, I feel like we have a pretty decent tire selection now. And, you know, there's a Reapers, but we have a pretty decent tire selection now and a nice little rotation going. And, you know, we got the karts on the same page and they handle pretty good. It's just, we're just missing some little things here or there, but we're figuring it out. We're putting the puzzle together. We're getting the pieces. We're getting closer. We're closing the gap. I'm a little bit more competitive than what I was at this point last year, just a little bit. So while the results are maybe kind of poopy for this weekend, I think overall it's still honestly a success. We weren't last. After hot laps and qualifying, honestly, the goal changed to just not last, and we definitely weren't not last. So I think they started 14 in the B. I started 12th, finished 8th. That's not last. I didn't qualify last. So, you know, baby steps, pieces to the puzzle. We're working on it. We're getting better. Friday night was fun. We had good runs, but that was, you know, whatever. Saturday night was very long, very hot, but it was a good time. So yeah, that is what it is. We're going to take a couple weeks off again, so no racing for me for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to Knoxville, Iowa for the Knoxville Nationals like I do every single year. We're going to leave Thursday. We're going to be out there for the 360s all the way to the end of the 410s. I've been going out there for this since I was like 7. So a couple weeks off from karting to go watch some sprint car racing, but when we're back, we're going to be racing. I think we might go to Wheelersburg on the 15th. They're having a Tim Evans Memorial. I think the tentative plan is to go to that right now, but I'm not really sure. Our schedule doesn't even matter anymore. We're on like version 7 of our schedule. There's just been too many rainouts and too many races canceled and too many races switching from one track to a different track. So the schedule doesn't matter, but it'll be at least 2 weeks before we're on the track again. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Thanks for sticking with me through all my trials and tribulations and all my struggles, and watching me try and figure this shit out again, and trying to get better, because that's just what we're trying. We're just trying to get better and back to where we used to be back in the olden days when I was young. And maybe we'll never get there, but it's been fun trying to figure it out and trying to learn again. And thank you all for watching.